everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about Alpha Drive One's album Euphoria, or should I say debut album. So just to start off, I'll just say I currently have in some contacts which are the AI One Day Re-Freer contacts in the colour Next Blue. If you're interested, I'm not sponsored or anything like that. This is what they look like. That's what they look like on my eyes. I think the blue colour kind of comes out a lot better on darker coloured eyes, but you can probably see my natural colour eyes are more of like a hazily green. So the blue doesn't show up as much. But these contacts were modelled by Winter of Esper and also now Baby Monsters Asa. So yeah. Also, I'm hoping that the sound on this is alright. I've currently got lots of fans and aircon and things going on because it is very hot right now. So hopefully the sound is okay. Also, if you are interested in my makeup look today, I will be uploading a little tutorial / video of me doing my makeup. So if you're interested in that, please check it out. Anyway, let's just get into the video. If you don't know me by now, I am Zero Base One #1 fan. You can probably see up here we have lots of Zero Base One. And as Zero Base One is kind of disbanding, it will be interesting to see how Alpha Drive One kind of takes their place a little bit, because let's be real, they're both from Boys Planet and they're kind of Zero Base One's successes a little bit. And I think with the timing of everything as well, it kind of makes sense that they're taking over as the new Zero Base One. But let's do a little bit of comparison to see if they are actually going to be the new Zero Base One, or is this something else? Are they going to be a sufficient replacement for Zero Base One? But now with the announcement that they will continue as a 5-member group, maybe that's not even quite relevant. But anyway, let's do a little bit of a comparison between the debut album of Zero Base One and then Euphoria for Alpha Drive One, and I will go more in depth about Alpha Drive One and Euphoria and their debut album rather than Zero Base One, but I will just touch on Zero Base One and just do a bit of a comparison between the two bands. So I think the biggest giveaway is the concepts of the two different bands. So Zero Base One debuting more of like the flower boy, romantic kind of vibes, like the protective Namchin kind of vibes as well, of like a mature, tough kind of bad boy, confident kind of vibe. And you can definitely hear the two different concepts, not just with visuals, but in their music as well. Alpha Drive One are definitely bringing like a big, powerful vibe. So I think that's kind of the first step, is realizing they're very much different types of vibes that they're kind of trying to do. So I think that right off the bat is kind of telling us they're not trying to make a replacement for Zero Base One, but just another band that's come from Boys Planet. So speaking about their debut albums, so Alpha Drive One have more of like a darker, more intense, more powerful kind of sound, like I was saying, and Zero Base One obviously being a lighter kind of sound. So with Alpha Drive One, Cinnamon Shake and Never Been to Heaven are probably the two songs that do have more of a lighter, fresher kind of sound. And then obviously Freak Alarm, Formula, Raw Flame being more of the intense and darker kind of sounding songs. The songs on the album talk about them becoming famous and about debuting and all that kind of stuff, which I'll dive into a bit more shortly. And then Zero Base One's Youth in the Shade are more about songs more like towards the fans a little bit, and again talking about debuting and becoming famous and things like that, but I definitely get more of like a to the fans kind of vibe from Zero Base One's Youth in the Shade. For example, the song In Bloom, which was their title track or the most promoted song on the album, has lyrics like "It's all because of you." Yes, all because of you. And my day starts and ends with you, which I interpret as talking to the fans. They also talk about creating memories maybe together as a group, but also with the fans, with songs like Our Season. And Junghao's solo always talks about sticking together and his dream to become famous and become an idol and do music and all that kind of stuff. First song on the album, Back to Zero Base One, talks about them debuting and about starting their journey and kind of having like a realization of like, oh my god, is this actually real? Is this actually happening? And then we have Kids on the Block, which is about them being new to the stage and debuting as well. So there's a bit of debuting kind of concept, and then there's also more of like a letter towards the fans and being thankful for the people that voted for them on the show that they were able to debut. It's a very fun and fresh album, and that makes sense with their whole concept, and basically I think Youth in the Shade is probably the perfect debut album. But let's stop the comparisons now. We will talk about Alpha Drive One's debut album, Euphoria, and starting with Formula.
We got the formula.
So Formula was the first song that they debuted with, even before they kind of officially debuted, which they performed at the Mama Awards of last year, 2025. I think the response from the viewers was a little bit underwhelming. I think people were maybe a little bit disappointed in this song being their debut song, because it is, in my opinion, it's a bit of a weird song. It's got lots of different elements in it, and it's got an interesting sound. The chorus isn't particularly like a chorus. Like they kind of build it up, but then it doesn't really turn into much of like a chorus per se. I think this song was supposed to be their title track, but I think since maybe a little bit of backlash, this is me just making stuff up at the top of my head, but I think maybe because of a bit of backlash with the response for Formula, that they've now made Freak Alarm their more like title track song, especially because Freak Alarm actually has a music video and Formula has just got a performance video. Anyway, Formula is kind of so bad that it's kind of so good, like good so bad. Oh, that's a Zero Base One song. But I think it's so bad that it is kind of good. Like when I first heard it, I was a bit like, not sure how I feel about this, but now it's kind of a bit of a funny song. Like I was saying, there's lots of different elements to this song, and also vocally as well. You've got some like big mad kind of big confident boy, and then it kind of switches to more like ethereal kind of vocals as well. So it's very much up and down in terms of what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it be tough, but also showcase their nice, like, angelic-y kind of vocals in the song too. Big, like... This part of the song is definitely a bit chaotic, and I think it also makes it kind of fun to sing along to when you've got that bit kind of in the chorus, because that's kind of the chorus. They kind of do the big whoa, whoa part, and then it goes, we got the formula. And then that's kind of like the chorus a little bit. Honestly, I personally think this kind of big tough guy, confident type of theme or concept doesn't totally suit all the members, and that's like no shade or anything like that. Like, I think all the members are great, and they are great at singing and dancing and doing the whole thing. Like, they're great. I think it's interesting that they've got some members doing some parts that kind of sound a bit more tough, but then it doesn't come across super tough in the end just because of their vocal style. For example, Shin Long, he does a really, really good job at doing this big tough type of vocals. Pink Leo and Arno also do pretty good job in the song too of trying to do the big confident tough kind of voices. but I think it kind of lacks with Sangwon and Anshin's vocals a little bit. Again, I really love Anshin and Sangwon. I think they're great, but I think the way that they've executed some of the vocal parts in terms of trying to give like the tough, confident bad boy concept fall a little bit flat, especially with the right at the start intro part of the song where they're saying, I think they say stepping into the set, something threat, and you like, I feel like that's meant to kind of come across as like, you know, they're saying threat, like whoa, like, you know, it should be a bit more like in your face a bit, but it doesn't really, he doesn't quite open it up very awfully.
Stepping into the set, keep on threat.
You know what I mean? And same with, again, with Anshin's part where he's got the similar line.
Stepping into the set, keep on threat.
I think this song, you know, they're trying to show what their concept is and what style they're trying to go towards, and you know, that is done well. And I would say probably Formula is probably my top 3 songs from the album. I think mainly because it's just kind of a fun and silly song, and it's just really quite random. There's also a part in it where it says we just want a ball, but like every time I listen to it, it sounds like we just want a boy.
We just want a boy.
And you know, like slay, but like it sounds interesting, and you know, we want a ball like to play, I guess. They just, yeah, I'm not really sure. But the song in general is about them debuting and becoming famous and that whole kind of concept. So it makes sense. So I think I'm going to say we'll give it about 7 out of 10 because of the randomness and the chaoticness of the song, and because it's kind of original in that way. Now, Freak Alarm I briefly touched on in my K-pop opinions no one asked for video most recently. So it's very much got like a 90s vibe. Again, trying to do that kind of tough, confident guy attitude. They're gonna press a freak alarm. I don't know what the freak alarm does, but they're gonna press it. And they're gonna freak out and I guess just pop off on stage. Maybe that's what they're kind of talking about here. I think this song really does showcase their vocals quite well. There's a lot of parts where they sound really nice. And I really do enjoy Leo's part of the song here. And again with vocals, the bridge vocals like pop off really hard too. In general, I don't have too much to say about Freak Alarm really, but you know, it's quite upbeat, quite fun. It's a pretty catchy song as well, and the part where they say gonna start a fire, I think that's a pretty fun part of the song too, and I really enjoyed that. Lyrics wise, again, it's all about them preparing to debut and being on stage and blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. So it is again on theme for being a debut album. Now, Raw Flame. So Raw Flame, I think once you get to this song, you realize what they're trying to do, what type of vibe they're kind of doing with their music. So what they're trying to do is like a bad boy, kind of tough, confident vibe, but also adding in some sort of like angelic-y kind of vocals. So it goes from like angry bad boy to like angelic to angry. So you can see the pattern that they're trying to create, which, you know, is quite interesting and a little bit different as well. So I do really appreciate that. Again, lyrics wise, quite consistent with the other 2 songs. Nothing super out of the ordinary for them. It's another very like upbeat, bangery kind of song. The use of like the almost screamo / Exorcist kind of this part is definitely an interesting choice, and it's something you don't really hear very often in K-pop songs. I think the actual chorus where they say raw flame does kind of fall a little bit flat. I don't know why, it's just quite flat.
Don't watch me roll flame just like the savage. Roll flame, watch me.
But then you've got the pre and post chorus parts, which like go off really hard, and I love them, and I think they sound amazing. So it's a little bit disappointing that the chorus falls quite flat, because the pre and post chorus really go off. I don't know if they maybe needed to do a bit more of like a deeper voice for the chorus, for the raw flame part, or I'm not really sure. There's just something missing in the chorus part. But I think other than the random kind of screamo parts and the raw flame chorus, this song would actually like pop off really hard, and I would really rate it super high because it sounds really nice and really good and is so fun and upbeat and boppy. So, you know, I think I'd probably give it, I think like a 6 out of 10, only because the chorus not popping off super hard. But the rest of the song is quite fun. Chains, also known as Over Me 2.0, if you know, then you know. It is a song that was an original song made for Boys to Planet for one of the battles that they did on the show. I think this is a really smart idea to include Chains, a song that people already know from the show, onto their new album. It's a song that people really, really enjoyed. It's got a lot of listens and views and things on YouTube. So I think it was definitely a smart idea to put this song in their debut album. People are familiar with it, they know this song, they're gonna listen to it. And to remake it as an Alpha Drive 1 version of the song, I think is also very smart. The song, I'm not gonna talk about too much, but basically it's kind of trying to do like a sexy vibe, and people like it. I think probably people like the song mainly because of the performance. But anyway, it's a bit of a different style to the other songs on the album, and I think the song is made quite well to convey that kind of like sexy concept. For me personally, it's not a song that I particularly listen to or is that really interested in it, but I think, you know, it was a smart choice. It's something different to break up from the big boy energy of the album, and yeah. Now, Never Been to Heaven is another song that's on the album that was on Boys to Planet as one of the battle songs. I believe that was one of the 2 final battle songs. And when I first listened to the song, I really disliked it. It's definitely grown on me now. It's trying to give 90s vibes.
Hey sir, your time is up. Let's get lost in the rhythm.
It's giving Dolly Parton 9 to 5 in the start part of the song. It's also kind of giving a little bit kids bop in my opinion. Look, like I said, it has grown on me, but it's definitely not my favorite song on the album. And again, it's a song people know. It's their most viewed video performance on YouTube, so people obviously do quite enjoy this song. It's something more fun, more fresh, different from the other concepts from the other songs on the album, so that kind of breaks it up a little bit to make it a bit more enjoyable for people who might not be into such like the hard, more powerful kind of songs. So for me, again, don't have much to say about it. It's just a song from the show, but I would say it's going to be like a 4 or a 5 out of 10 for me. Cinnamon Shake is probably the song I was looking forward to most when I listened to the album snippet teaser trailer. It is definitely more of an upbeat and poppy, and you kind of almost get like a romancy kind of vibe, and I really enjoy that. I think Cinnamon Shake is probably actually my favourite song on the album because of the type of music style and vibe that it's kind of giving. So you can probably tell what type of music I like. I like flower boy romantic kind of songs. But when you think it's kind of more of a romantic song, looking at the lyrics, it's actually more about getting a bit of like a sugar high, about being on stage. So the song's actually more, again, related to this whole theme about debuting and about being on stage and being together and celebrating them being Alpha Drive 1. The pre-chorus has a bit of a slower tempo to it, which kind of creates anticipation and a bit of tension about them getting ready to go on the stage. And then when it gets to the chorus, that must be like when they're on stage and it's more upbeat and poppy and they're having a great time. Again, signifying that kind of high of being on stage and about them having so much fun. Also using like the sweet flavors and mentioning of sweet treats and things like that, like the cherries and the syrup and all that, really kind of gives it a double meaning a little bit in that kind of way. And I think the use of that was quite fun. It definitely adds character to the song as well. Now I don't know if like the air horn part was totally necessary, but it's in there. But I think this song was so cleverly thought about and written, and the instrumental and the vocals and everything in this song just all go together really, really well. And again, staying on theme with the debut kind of concept. And I think this is almost like the perfect debut song, in my opinion. So I'm surprised that it wasn't promoted as much as some of the other songs, but again, they do kind of want to portray themselves as more of like a tough guy, powerful, confident kind of vibe. So I do kind of get it. But I think I would have to give this song like a 9 out of 10. It like really, it slays for me. So overall, to kind of conclude everything, Zero Base 1, Alpha Drive 1, 2 totally different bands. They aren't going to be as much of a replacement for Zero Base 1 because of their totally different style of concepts. Yes, they're both from Boys Planet, but again, they're just two very different vibes. Alpha Drive 1 have really established the vibe that they want to give with the first 3 songs on the album, and I think they've been executing it pretty well. Like I said, there are some vocals that I think could have been a bit stronger to try and give that more powerful vibe, but maybe it's just that not all the members kind of suit that concept, and that's like totally okay. I think the songs allowed them to show off a lot of their really great vocals, and I think they're really working hard to make good performances and good songs. The remaking of songs from Boys to Planet from some of the battles was a really smart idea for Alpha Drive 1. I really do wish that maybe Zero Base 1 had re-released some of the songs from Boys Planet as well, like Jelly Pop. also Say My Name.
Say my name. 세 글자. 어디에는 맞춘다니까. 설명해서 끝은 네가 해. 네 말해줄래. 대답은 그걸로 충분해. Just say my name. Just say my name. 우리 시작해볼까 love, oh baby.
Say My Name is like my favourite song from Voice Planet and probably one of my most favourite songs ever. But the originals are still on Spotify to listen to, and obviously the people who did them originally on Voice Planet did a really good job too. But at the same time, a Zero Base One version of the songs would have been pretty fun. Maybe they could have done that as their last album together. Anyway, I think it was also very smart that the last song on the album, being Cinnamon Shake, they've ended it with a very euphoric type of song, and that was the name of the album, Euphoria. So I think that was quite smart to kind of tie everything all together. They've got their concept with the first 3 songs, they've got the songs from Boys to Planet, and then they end it with a euphoric kind of song to tie in with Euphoria, the album. The songs are also very much debut related in the lyrics, which is again fit for a debut album. So I think thinking of all the songs and the concepts and everything all together, debut album is probably like a 9 out of 10. It kind of ticks all the boxes and is a really well done album. In terms of actual listenability for me, in my perspective, with my preferences in music, it's probably more like a 6 or a 7. They're not all totally songs that I would listen to a lot, but they're still quite enjoyable. So I really think this was quite a successful album for Alpha Drive One. I think they've actually got quite a bit of success in the album sales and things like that too, which is really great. I'll be interested to see in their next album or EP, whenever their next song is, if they stick with this kind of powerful, confident vibe, or if they switch it up a little bit to something different. I think they might stick with this kind of vibe, but we never know. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, Alpha Drive One are doing their thing and they're slaying. And I think that's what they wanted to achieve. As they said in Formula,
Go slay, hey.
they want to go slay. So they are slaying. And yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope no one got too offended, but again, everything I've said in this video is my own opinion. So please leave any thoughts and comments below, and check out some of my other videos if you're interested in K-pop and K-pop opinions and music reviews and album reviews and everything like that. And subscribe if you like as well. I've got lots of videos on my channel if you want to check them out. And again, thank you so much for watching. Bye!